We're going to start, though, with the latest on Marcus Rashford's future. Now, we understand his representatives are in talks with Manchester United over a potential loan move in this window. Ruben Amorim was asked about Rashford today.
How much would you like to see a resolution with this situation as far as where it's at and what's going on at the moment?
I just want to win tomorrow. My focus is to win tomorrow. I will choose the players that I think they are the best to win the game tomorrow. So I'm just focused on that.
So exactly what we expect from Ruben Amorim, not a lot. What can you tell us, Dharmesh?
Yeah, as you mentioned at the top there, Marcus Rashford's representatives are talking to Manchester United over a potential loan move in this transfer window. Now, Rashford's camp, you'll remember, we've been reporting throughout this transfer window. We've been speaking to clubs in Italy and in Spain. And I think the feeling is that they want to get a preferred destination for Rashford, first of all, before then those clubs going to Manchester United to engage and explore the conditions of a deal. Because there's no point in a club going to Manchester United, completely agreeing a deal with them, and then a minute later Rashford saying, actually, I don't actually want to go there. So get that bit out of the way first so that time is saved in what is becoming a little bit of a saga now. We're over halfway through this transfer window and still Rashford is still waiting to find out where he's going to go. AC Milan, we do know, have made Rashford a top target in this transfer window. That could be accelerated now that Kolo Muani has chosen to go to Juventus. Remember, Muani, not only a target at one point for Manchester United, but a target for AC Milan as well. With regard to Marcus Rashford, all options remain on the table. So he could leave, but he could yet stay at Manchester United for the remainder of this season, and then they'll reassess in the summer.
I think what's interesting here is the fact that he was left out by Ruben Amorim before the Manchester derby. So he's actually not played for Manchester United since early December, the game against Nottingham Forest. So 8 games where he's not been involved. That's a long time as a professional footballer to not be playing football. We've still got no sign of an immediate resolution. So all the time he's missing games. Long-term ambition as well for Marcus Rashford will be to force Thomas Tuchel's hand and get back into the England squad. So this situation isn't great for him either, and I'm sure all parties would like it resolved sooner rather than later.
One thing I'd add to that, if Rashford doesn't go and he stays at Manchester United beyond February the 3rd and deadline day, there's every expectation, and it will probably be forced upon United and Ruben Amorim to try and reintegrate him back into the squad and get him playing, because if he isn't playing and they want to sell him in the summer, his value is not going to be great. So it's in Manchester United's interest that Marcus Rashford is playing football until the end of the season, preferably at a club abroad or maybe even United themselves.
Jadon Sancho Mark II. Listen, if he does go, Dharmesh, surely they're going to need to get someone in, or are they?
I'm not so sure. I mean, there has been talk about Kolo Muani, as we've been mentioning before, but as far as I'm being led to believe, it could be pretty quiet for Ruben Amorim and Manchester United with regard to incomings in this transfer window. The plan, I think, is for Ruben Amorim to really shape his squad in the summer, because that's what most clubs do. They focus on a summer transfer window. And if you think back to when Ruben Amorim came to the club, he wanted to come in the summer. He wanted to finish off the season at Sporting Lisbon. But United, some would say to their credit, well, actually, this is a now or never situation. You've got to come now or it's not going to happen. And so Ruben Amorim had to take that decision. And with that, he has come into the club and he's effectively told them, look, you've employed me because of what I did at Sporting Lisbon. I play 3 at the back at Sporting Lisbon. Manchester United don't do that, so there's going to be a bit of suffering. He could have taken the easy way out and said, let's play a back four. That's what this club is used to. That's what these players are used to. But he's decided not to do that. And he's effectively put the onus on the players. So it's almost an audition for these players. He's going to find out in the coming months who's with him, who can play in his formation and who isn't.
Indeed. All right, a couple more deals involving United. Diego Leon, Tim.
Yeah, he's returned to Paraguay after completing pre-contractual agreement with Manchester United, so that is a deal that's done. He'll join in the summer, a deal worth up to £7 million. He's yet to turn 18. He won't be 18 until April, so one for the future, but a very athletic player, left-sided player, and one that might fit into Ruben Amorim's formation moving forward.
And one who might not fit into Ruben Amorim's formation, Anthony. What's the latest on him?
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar situation with Marcus Rashford, in the sense that I'm sure that Ruben Amorim would like to get some of these issues sorted now, because you mentioned the summer. He could have issues resolving the future of Rashford, etc. in the summer if they don't get sorted in this transfer window. But talks are ongoing with Real Betis. They are looking to bring him in. They've just sold one of their wingers to Como, so there is a space there. United would prefer to get him out in this window. A loan looks the most likely way of doing that, but talks are ongoing, and it remains to be seen whether an agreement can be made.
OK, we covered United.
Let's move on then to Marcus Rashford, a name we've already spoken about quite a few times. I'm sure we will for the rest of this window too. Sky Italy, though, have described today as a decisive day in Marcus Rashford's future, with AC Milan considering Barcelona as their main opponent in the race for the attacker. Some sources in Manchester believe that Barcelona is actually Rashford's favoured destination. Interesting, this, isn't it? I mean, you can see the appeal, obviously, of Barcelona. I'm sure it's most people's favourite destination. But in terms of Rashford, are Barcelona in a position to bring someone like Marcus Rashford into their side? We all know about their financial issues and their issues registering players.
Yeah, we saw that with Dani Olmo, who's been a bit of a revelation at Barcelona this season. He's been fantastic attacking midfield. And again, it's where Marcus would fit in. Obviously, players have got to go out. You're looking at maybe an Ansu Fati, a Ferran Torres. Arejo's been linked with Juventus, and that move is something that could potentially go through. But now Ingo Martinez is injured. There's question marks there at the back for Barcelona. So I think it's got to be someone on the way out. Obviously, the wages, the fee that they've got to pay to Manchester United for the loan potentially, and then in the summer, if they confirm that as a permanent transfer, there is question marks.
Just watched the Spanish Super Cup the other day when they absolutely tore Real Madrid to shreds, 5-2. Didn't seem to have too many problems going forward either. You've got Yamal, you've got Rafinha on the flanks. Where would Rashford fit in to that side?
I'm not sure. I think out of all the options, it's probably the most difficult to see where he would play. Maybe Rafinha. He's played in attacking midfield this season around 6 times, but he is incredible off the left, and he's been a revelation.
A renovation.
Nailed it. Great work. He's been a revelation to them this season. He's captained them a few times. He had such an outstanding performance against Real Madrid, and he seems to be the heart of that attack. Obviously, Lamine Yamal is the youngster and everyone's praising him. But when you see Barcelona attack, he's the main player. So maybe they're seeing Lewandowski might get injured or want to give him a few minutes on the substitute bench, or maybe Rafinha coming into attacking midfield. But I think that place would be harder for him to get in than anywhere else.
I think the interesting thing from Marcus Rashford's point of view is, let's not forget, I know I mentioned this last week, he has not played for Manchester United since the beginning of December. He is out of the England picture as we speak right now because he's not playing. So for Marcus Rashford, he needs to play. That is the first priority, you would think. I do agree with what you're saying about Barcelona. How much will he play? But let's not forget, they are in the middle of a title race, just a few points behind Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And they are also doing very well in the Champions League table as well. And because he's played in the Europa League, he wouldn't be cup tied if he was to go to Barcelona. So let's not forget, Barcelona will want to rotate your Yamals, your Rafinhas. So he should get game time if he is to go there. I just think as well, in terms of the football,
It's so settled. Their front line is so they're so used to each other, and I feel like they're the best attacking team in the world right now, or one of.
In a way, you have to praise Marcus Rashford if it is his preferred choice, if he does want to go, because as you said, the players he'd be competing against are world class, and perhaps Marcus Rashford hasn't shown that consistency in his career so far that he is at that level, but it's a challenge for him nevertheless.
For sure, but I think that, like you mentioned, the position as well. Balde on the overlap, Rashford inside from the left wing, that is the perfect position for him. The movement of Lewandowski off the line, the runs from deep, we saw that against Real Madrid, how potent that is. That's basically Rashford's game. I think it would be exciting. I think Hansi Flick wants depth in attack. But you think about Hansi Flick and the great players he's worked with, he's turned some wingers into some absolute monsters. Kingsley Coman, the likes of Gnabry at Bayern Munich. It would be super exciting for Rashford to move to Barcelona.
OK. I was on a few Arsenal WhatsApp groups last night, just sort of gauging the reaction to the Zubimendi news. And I think people are generally quite happy, but 9 out of 10 Arsenal fans will say to you, look, the here and now, we need a striker or at least a forward that can maybe play through the middle. So what are the options, the realistic options for Arsenal in January?
I think it's difficult because you see all the names mentioned. I've seen hundreds of fans mention Isak. I've seen hundreds of fans mention Gyökeres, Osimhen as well. And these players are obviously of top quality, but at the same time, it's so difficult to get top strikers in January when their teams are aiming to achieve something. Isak, their teams are aiming for Champions League. Osimhen feels like he owes something to Galatasaray for giving him the opportunity to, show that he's still a top striker. And Gyökeres as well, he said that he's going to stay up until the summer. I think the most realistic option for them right now is probably Vlahovic, a player that they were linked with a few years ago in 2022. Obviously, his time at Juventus hasn't been the greatest. He's still scoring goals. He's got 12 goals, 2 assists this season. But if you speak to, or if you see any Juventus fans' frustration this season, they say he misses a lot of chances. But at the same time, I think sometimes a new environment might be good for a team. And because they want him so bad, and we've seen the Kolo Muani links to Juventus, I think it just makes sense.
It really does in that sense. And I think when you look at Vlahovic, again, when he was at Fiorentina, he was a focal point of their attack. Everything went into his feet. He linked really well. What's quite strange, obviously, Thiago Motta's now a Juventus manager. He likes a forward that drops off the line. Obviously, Joshua Zirkzee at Bologna. That kind of fitted what Vlahovic was doing at Fiorentina, but maybe not now. And it's an interesting one. You mentioned all those good forwards, and Isak isn't going to leave Newcastle this January, in my opinion. 25 goals in 2024, and Shearer's managed more in a calendar year in the last 22 years. And when you look at those numbers underlying him, since the start of last season, only Haaland scored more as a striker, only Watkins has created more chances, and only Jackson has completed more dribbles. He's got that duality. He's too far away. You mentioned the likes of Osimhen as well. Could they get him from Galatasaray? He's got one of his best goal plus assists per 90 in his entire career. And then Gyökeres has basically said that he's staying at Sporting. 62 goals in 2024. Those players feel away from it. But what about someone like a Benjamin Šeško?
Yeah, who Arsenal were reportedly interested in the last window. So might they go back in for him again?
For sure, I think he's someone that has started to evolve. You look at the start of 2024, I remember watching him against Real Madrid in the Champions League knockout game. His movement was incredible. Got into so many good goal-scoring opportunities, but that day missed 3 big chances. From that point onwards, you're looking at his numbers, 18 goals in the Bundesliga. That's more than the likes of Matheus Cunha, Kai Havertz have managed in the Premier League. So he's got the quality. But also looking at his underlying numbers, he scored around 9 more goals than he should have done due to his expected goals. So big big potential. And we all saw his goal against Werder Bremen this weekend. An absolute banger.
Netov. He scores some bangers, doesn't he, Šeško? So, possibly Vlahovic, possibly Šeško. These might be the more realistic options. We'll wait and see.
*** Manchester United team news ahead of Southampton clash. Ruben Amorim discusses Toby Collier ***. As Manchester United gears up for their Premier League encounter against Southampton, changes are on the horizon following a hard-fought victory in the FA Cup against Arsenal. The team may need to implement 2 key adjustments for the upcoming match. Diogo Dalot will be sidelined due to a suspension stemming from a red card received in the FA Cup third-round clash with Arsenal. Meanwhile, Harry Maguire exited during extra time after missing 2 training sessions last week due to illness. United's manager, Ruben Amorim, is known for making 5 substitutions, and after an intense 120 minutes against Arsenal, he ended the match with Lisandro Martinez in a forward position and Toby Collier, the promising midfielder, playing as a right-back in a 5-3-1 formation. Collier showcased his energy and skill after coming on in the 81st minute alongside Ahmad and Joshua Zirkzee. This marked Collier's 4th appearance for the club and his first since the League Cup match against Barnsley in September, having been sidelined for nearly 3 months due to injury. However, he has been named in the matchday squad for the last 5 games. There are many players I've had to consider this week, admitted Amorim. Toby is training exceptionally well. He's got great pace and a willingness to learn, making him a valuable option for tomorrow's match. While Collier is open to a move if the right offer comes this month, his impactful performance against Arsenal and the current midfield struggles of United may well keep him with the squad for the remainder of the season. With Eriksen and Casemiro both likely leaving United this year, the need for fresh talent is critical. Both players will turn 33 next month, and Eriksen is expected to part ways when his contract expires in the summer unless sold in January. Collier, who signed a new deal with United until 2027 last summer, is highly regarded by former manager Erik ten Hag. The academy graduate joined from Brighton in March 2022 and made his debut against Manchester City in the Community Shield, later coming on for Casemiro during a challenging 3-0 defeat to Liverpool in September. As the team prepares for Southampton, Collier's potential to make an impact could prove vital for United's midfield strategy moving forward.